What's up, guys and goddesses? How y'all doing? It's been a minute since I came on here and dropped some petals of wisdom and had a little lotus talk with y'all from the comfort of my vehicle. There's been for many reasons, but I'm back again. I have a very important message that is on my heart. If you are tuning in from Facebook, you need to go through, I forgot what it is that you have to do, but you have to do something to allow me to see your comments from Facebook since I'm using StreamYard. So take that time to go through those necessary steps at this moment. And while you do that, I am going to introduce myself. I am Dr. Zaya Kimmy, for those of you who do not know me or who are coming across me for the very first time. I am a cognitive behavioral alchemist. I help overgivers who struggle to speak their truth and be themselves, craft and implement the ultimate blueprint to total life transformation through alchemy, psychology, and herbalism. I was designed to birth and rear a new nation of leaders, thinkers, strivers, overcomers, and creators. And my mission is to help those individuals to embrace their personal power and leverage it for their ultimate life experience instead of using all that magical goodness for the purposes of enhancing the institutions and lifestyles of those who would like to see us remain second-class citizens. When I tap into my higher power, obstacles dissipate effortlessly, and I am able to move forward in purpose and power. All right. So today I want to talk about the need for balance. Oh, look at that. The roadways are opening up. God is good. I want to talk about the need for balance in situations of revenge. Let's talk about the difference between revenge and justice and the need for balance. All right. So the reason that I feel it necessary to have this conversation is because, first and foremost, I am going through a transition right now where I am being challenged to enter back into a space that has denied my humanity, disrespected me, and left me in such dire straits in so many situations in the past that um, it created a lot of anger inside. It created a lot of anger. And it created this need to really and truly want to give people what's coming to them and make them feel what I feel. And it's in these moments that we are challenged to decide which sides of ourselves do we want to tap into. Do we want to tap into the light and take the path of least resistance? Or do we want to tap into the darkness and let a motherfucker fuck around and find out? Um, a quote, I never really thought about the meaning of the quote, revenge is a dish best served cold, the way that I'm thinking about it today. Because on the surface, that quote makes a lot of sense. It says, it's basically saying that if you're going to, get your lick back, then it don't need to be no warmth and no sweetness about it, right? There's no warmth and sweetness in vengeance. But there's another side to that. Everything has duality. There's also this reality. Y'all be careful. These police is out here on the hunt today. They're trying to meet their quotas all across the state. I just sat here and watched this police officer follow me and read my tags and the tags of everybody else around us. So just be on the lookout. So back to what I was saying. So yeah, revenge is a dish best served cold. There is no warmth. There is no cuddliness. There is no compassion in vengeance. That's why it's a dish best served cold. But it's also a dish best served cold because I might just have to get off. I was gonna go and get my laptop, but these roads are too traffic is doing too much right now. There's duality in everything. So while we acknowledge that there is no compassion and warmth, right, in vengeance, we have to look at the other side of the coin because everything has a balance to it, right? So the other thing that we want to consider is that revenge, I might have to come back. There we go. It might not be time for me to do this right now. Well, let's take a moment until I can sit still before I get into the meat of what I'm saying. Because I'm encountering a few inconveniences right now. And I really want y'all to hear what I got to say. So give me a... All right, so we're just going to have to work with it right now with the steering wheel in the way. The other side of revenge, right? You can choose to operate in light, or you can choose to operate in darkness with any situation, and you are well within your rights to wield either one of those powers, right? Because the duality lives in all of us. However, in the same breath, in the same token, in the same sense, if you have to be aware of the consequences that come along with exercising each one of those powers. If you decide to operate in light when you've been wrong, then there's a possibility that the situation will absolutely positively cause you some pain that you just gonna have to take on the chin, right? If you decide to operate in darkness and get what you need, get the vengeance and the justice that you deserve, then you have to be aware of the consequences that come along with that and be willing to take that on the chin as well. So when you think about the quote, revenge is a dish that's best served cold, one of the other side of that is, if you're gonna get your lick back, you need to weigh the pros and the cons of the situation, and you need to play chess, not checkers. Which means you have to have a cool head. You gotta be cool, calm, collected, and calculated. Right? Cool, calm, collected, and calculated. It's very, 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 very necessary if you're gonna get your lick back. I know that a lot of us, most of us, especially as black people, we have been taught to turn the other cheek. We have been taught that forgiveness is the way out. Forgiveness and love and light is what we should practice at all times. And just let God and the universe deal with people. But sometimes God gives you the power and the tools and the dominion to deal with people. Sometimes God gives you the resources, the network, the knowledge to defend yourself, to defend your rights, to protect yourself at all costs. And sometimes God gives you the opportunity, the space and the opportunity to handle business. We get caught up in these social constructs like laws. Laws are perverted social constructs. Rules are perverted social constructs. The only reason law is practiced the way it is practiced today in this country, in Western civilization, is because it is used as an oppressive measure. It was never designed to protect the masses. It was designed to protect the status quo. It was designed to protect what Karl Marxists would describe as the hegemony. Okay, the hegemony is a small group of people who who hold most of the influence and control in a given territory and situation. That's what laws were designed for in Western civilization, in the United States to be exact. And we have been conditioned to submit to those laws and believe those laws without interrogating those laws and qualifying those laws for our good intention, for our best interests. These laws were never designed for our best interests. They were always designed to oppress and capture us and force us into servitude. And so when you find yourself in a situation where carrying out vengeance may end you up in a predicament where you are breaking those laws, you have to balance the scales. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? You have to pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities that your ancestors and your spirit guides are sending you. Is it worth it, baby? Is it worth it? And you also have to keep a cool head so that you can be objective in evaluating whether the actions that you are desiring to take in order to protect your energy are worth it. These are all the things that you must consider when you are deciding if you want to resist. right? So that's the whole intellectual aspect of things, right? So that's my premise. That's my thesis. You have the ability at any given moment to exercise your dark and your light, to take the path of least resistance or take the path of resistance. You just need to understand what comes with those paths. And you need to consider the toll it is going to take on your life ultimately, should you decide that that's something that you want to do. All right. So let's talk about the need for balance and harmony, and get a little bit deeper into the consequences of embracing your darkness. The darkness is within us for good reason, but it has to be tamed. It has to be trained. It has to have discipline, i.e., revenge is a dish best served cold. When you are tapping into that kind of energy, you have to be cognizant of the fact and the reality that there's a price you have to pay. When you let the darkness come in and when you connect with that energy, it has to feed on something within you, right? It has to connect with something in you. And if you are not doing your work on a daily basis to stay in a cool and a calm place, to be objective, to have a balanced perspective, to make sure that you are putting on the right filter when you are analyzing the situation and deciding how you want to respond to it. If you are not doing those things, then you act out of emotion, and you act for the moment. You act for the immediate and momentary satisfaction of saying, oh, I showed that mofo. But sometimes in doing so, you are cutting off your nose to spite your face. You causing harm to yourself. And trying to hurt someone else, you end up hurting yourself. Are you consulting with your higher powers about whether this is the right way to go? Or are you just so sick and tired of being sick and tired because you feel like justice is not coming to you fast enough or the way that you think it should come to you? That it's time for you to take matters in your own hands. Everything has balance. I'm not saying lay down and take abuse and turn the other cheek while people continue to abuse you. But what I am saying is consider the tools and the resources available to you to protect your energy, to stand for something, right? You have to evaluate and you have to balance the scales when it comes to the different universal laws at play. And you also have to consult your higher power, your spirit guides, your ancestors about whether this is permissible, if you have the permission to even take these kinds of actions, right? Because they working for you in other dimensions. They working on your behalf in other dimensions. And sometimes that momentary satisfaction that you are seeking and taking justice into your own hands is setting a timeline in motion that completely and totally undoes all of the progress you, your ancestors, and your spirit guides have made. Sometimes the actions that you want to take out of anger and vengeance and pettiness put your blessings on hold, put your inheritance on hold. We have access to all kind of blessings and protections and inheritances that have been preserved for us in the five dimension and above. And it takes a collaborative, cooperative effort between you, the natural human conduit, and your spiritual advocates on the other side in order to bring what is due to you out of the 5D into the 3D. It's a process. Your blessings are ideas that become reality by being in the right frequency, which in order to be in the right frequency means you have to be in the right mindset. You have to behave a certain way to stay in the frequency that brings down those blessings. You have to speak in a way that keeps you in alignment with the frequency that brings down those blessings. And though it may be very, 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 very tempting to risk it all, to get your lick back and let a mofo F around and find out, you need to weigh the costs. So I want to kind of wrap this up by giving you a compass or a tool to gauge exactly how balanced your perspective is on a situation. So let's first get into how you can pretty much identify and know that you are going too far with your anger. Number one, if the thought of the situation is striking so much emotion and anger inside of you that you are causing harm to yourself, causing harm to your valuables, or risking everything that you have worked for, or risking your most valuable relationships, you on the wrong end of the spectrum and you need to bring it on back. I'm not telling you to suppress your emotions. I'm not telling you that what you feel about the situation is wrong. What I am saying to you is you need to find a balanced way to release that. And not just release it, but transmute it. Okay? There's one thing to release the emotions to get it outside of you. That's one thing. It's another thing to free yourself of that energy and transform it into something beneficial for you. So Some great ways to transmute anger: gratitude. Practice gratitude. Okay. One of the some of the major reasons why you are so angered by the injustice that you are experiencing in the moment is because you are looking at the situation from a perspective of lack, from a perspective of disempowerment. You tired of always being on the short end of the stick. Well, if that's the case, then you need to start implementing behaviors and habits and practices on a daily basis that prevent you from being in a situation where you are giving more than you're receiving. You tired of getting caught up in the system and being mistreated and mishandled. Well, when you are aware, when you learn that particular system works, and then work on making sure that you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, so that you can stop being caught up in this system. And then you can start checking people who try to manipulate the system because they think you're ignorant, or you don't you won't say anything, or you don't have any tools to hold them accountable. When you find yourself in that kind of situation, of course you're going to continue to keep being a victim of the system over and over and over again. But all it takes is for you to have some discipline and some balance, and for you to be calm and strategic. See, when you heat it, you're not objective. But when you keep a cool head and you stay calm, you can see things, people, places, and things that are available to you to set this thing right. So if you find yourself in a situation where your life is out of balance, you keep getting tripped up, you keep having a lot of coincidences happen where um it just seems like calamity is happening to you on every side of your life. It is because your perspective is misaligned, and you're not practicing enough gratitude. You too focus on the injustices. You too focus on your hurt. You too focus on the pain. You too focus on what you don't have. You too focus on who's not helping you. You too focused on how the ones who wrong you continue to benefit. And you need to bring some balance back to the situation and practice some gratitude for the fact that you still here and alive to tell the story. You have people who care and will help you. You have ancestors, spirit guides, and a universe who is willing to co-create on your behalf, when all you got to do is get into alignment. So that's how you know if the anger is pushing you into the wrong direction. If everything around you is just going topsy turvy, it's because you thinking too negatively, you speaking too negatively, you sending out too many beacons of war. What you speak out of your mouth manifests, and it comes back to you. That's why it is important to be immaculate with your word. You can express your anger, your frustration with the situation in a way that is authentic and honors the humanity of who you are without bringing calamity to yourself. Get you a dictionary. Take an inventory of all of the words that you use on a daily basis that are negative, that are violent, that are hurtful, that hit below the belt. And find an honest, balanced replacement. Be immaculate with your word. It's called practicing Smitawi in the Kemetic traditions. In your Ifa, Yoruba traditions, Vodou traditions, it is called, how do they say it? Do not hurry back from things that requires patience. Sometimes the spirit realm will allow you to experience calamity, tragedy, and injustice to teach you the lessons you need to learn in order to be prepared to carry out your purpose. Sometimes the spirit realm will allow calamity and trauma and injustice to happen because there is a payoff on the other side. You know, we live in a system where, depending on how you have your life set up, the tragedies and the calamities that you find yourself in activate some kind of benefit, activate some kind of protective measure, activate some type of reciprocity to try to make you whole in a situation. And that might be what you need at the moment. Sometimes the spirit realm allows calamity and trauma and pain to happen because you need to sit your ass down and rest, reflect, recalibrate, or hear within the transcendence journey. Practice the rise pillars of transcendence. Realize, reevaluate, recalibrate. That's the R. Insulate. Protect your energy from protect by fortifying the sensitive aspects of yourself. If you know what your triggers are, then put preventative and protective measures in place to where you're not being triggered. Right? Or do the work of recalibrating your emotions and regulating your emotions to a point to where them triggers don't have a power over you no more. Get yourself a board of trustees, or what some people will call accountability partners. Qualify them for different situations. Some people you can talk to, and they are a sounding board to help you get your thoughts outside of yourself and put them in order and make sense so you can make some good decisions. Some people are good for helping to de-escalate you once you find yourself worked up, whether out of anger or sadness or whatever. Some people are really good at being cheerleaders. Some people are just going to be very honest and straightforward with you, and you can reach out to them in situations where you're frustrated and you're about to take an action, and you need to say, okay, I need to check my perspective on this thing. Am I right or am I wrong? This is what's going on. This is how it makes me feel. This is how I see it. What are the blind spots that I am not able to see from your perspective? And how can I incorporate the perspectives of those blind spots into my decision making process in a way that works out for my highest good? Samatawi is the union of the two cities. That's what the literal translation means. And if we were to interpret that and go deeper, it's about integrating the higher and the lower self, integrating the yin and the yang, creating a cooperative, synergetic balance between the two energies to where they work together for your highest good, right? And to depict and symbolize what that journey is for us, Cometians use the narrative of Seth, Asar, Heru, and Aset. Also, what we would call Satan, God, Mary, and Jesus. The Cometians have several stories where Seth, you can also look at it like a Cain and Abel situation too, where Seth, who is the Kemetic deity of chaos, right? It's their symbol. It's the Cometians' symbol for chaos and darkness, right? He's the brother to Asar, who is the Kemetic deity of wisdom and resurrection. Seth spends all of his time trying to overcome Asar, catch him slipping. And he finally does when he tricks Asar into getting into this sarcophagus and cutting him up in several pieces, cutting off his phallus and spreading the pieces of his body all over the earth. Self is the representation of, when you think about that, self can be those aspects of our day-to-day human experience that's always trying to catch us up. The legal system always trying to catch you slipping. Them folks on your job, them skin folk that ain't kin folk, them overseers, the ones that ain't never had no power outside of the title at their job, y'all go to on a daily basis. That's that self, that Satian energy. Or you can look at it as Apep. Apep is the snake of oppression in Kemetic science. And self is that aspect of human consciousness that wants to go and edit its whole thing out. Right? So Seth is always coming after Asar. He finally overcomes Asar. But what Aset does is she steps in and she goes and finds her man. She puts him back together and she mounts his phallus to ensure that his legacy lives on through Heru, also known as Horus, also known as Jesus. Heru takes on many forms in Kemetic science, but in his most purest form, he is an innocent child, right? But then he takes on the form of a warrior as he grows up, and he goes against Seth. And he finally overcomes Seth and brings him back to his mama in chains. And at that point, the two of them come together. Seth and Heru come together. They integrate. And now Seth is a warrior of consciousness, of love and light, protecting truth, justice, balance, protecting the natural order of things. And that new entity is called Herukuti. So truth, knowledge, justice, and the ability to protect it all comes together in Herukuti. So I encourage you today, as you consider the people, places, and things that have wronged you, the people, places, and things that definitely got to come to you. And then a lot of times, Spirit already got it covered for you. If you are divine, baby, and you are put in a position where you are wronged, abused, and oppressed in such a way where you do not have the power to avenge yourself, best believe when you are a chosen one, they got you on the other side. You just got to have patience. Sometimes you have to humble yourself before people that you know are beneath you. Because the fact of the matter is, they got the upper hand in the situation. They have the power. They have the influence. They have the network on their side. So you play chess and not checkers. But I encourage you to tap into the power of Herukuti today. Consider the forces of oppression that you feel like have you bound up. Identify them very clearly. Then identify the resources you have around you to rise above it, to transcend. Then the S in rise represents speak your truth. You speak against that thing. You speak the truth to yourself. Be real, be really real with yourself. But when it comes out of your mouth, you speak the truth in such a way to where it doesn't boomerang back to you and cause you harm. You speak honesty. And you use the power of your tongue to battle that thing out. Sometimes in spiritual warfare, and all you got to do is speak it down, declare and decree that it has no power and dominion over your life. Declare and decree that it has no ability to stop your inheritance from being loose. What is loose for you in heaven, being loosed in the earth. It ain't stopping nothing. Sometimes you declare, you speak your truth in the form of calling upon your ancestors, your spirit guides, your higher power to protect you, to order your steps, to help you to make the right decisions in the situation, and most and above all else, to keep a calm, cool head. So that you're not messing yourself up for the gratification of getting your lick back. All right, y'all. It's been a while since we've been on here and did this thing, but we back at it again. I am in the process of getting more disciplined with my lifestyle to where I can be on here consistently with you and sharing the downloads. So let us close by wishing you a beautiful day, Wishing you blessings, prosperity, protection, and peace. Good decision making. And as I always say, I love you to life, and I look forward to taking this journey with you. If you are interested in receiving coaching from me, or if you would like to purchase any of my products to help you on the transcendence journey, I have a planner that you can use where you can actually write down, you can create your transcendence plan and write out your rise pillars of transcendence. You can identify your board of trustees and how they can help you to remain accountable. You also have some supernatural tools in there to help you in your meditation on a daily basis. It's all kinds of goodies in there to help you remain balanced. So you can go to www.risewithziya.com and click the link to order your transcendence planner, or you can look into my Samaitawi line, and I have candles, soaps, and body butters for each chakra. I also have teas and bath salts as well. So all of this is available to you at risewithziya.com. All right, y'all. I'm headed back in to the enemy's camp. Wish me peace, blessings, and protection as I head back into this space. But I look forward to seeing you on the transcendence journey real soon. Peace.